Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got a video here that I thought was very interesting, and I also thought that the comments were interesting as well. This one must have thought this was cute, but it is certainly not cute. And the title says, "The shelter trying to put me and my kids out." Just listen to it.
So one of the workers knocked at my door, and at this point, I'm beyond bothered. Like I said, I was coming. So the lady gonna tell me they want to see me over in the main office for going off on the lady that I went off on. So we walk over there. I hurry up, get my kids together. We go over there so I can go talk to the director because yeah. So I guess because I didn't answer my phone for curfew the night before, the lady called me this morning and was like trying to check me. So I'm like, lady, who the hell is you talking to? So immediately she started getting sarcastic. So when I go over to the main office, I'm standing there looking at her like she crazy. And she want to get smart. So the director lady come around the desk and she's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but we're going to have to discharge you. You have to get all of your things together and you will be discharged on tomorrow. We're going to give you overnight. So immediately I'm just like, okay, shoot, it is what it is. I ain't doing no tripping. I could care less if me and my kids have to find somewhere else to go. At this point, I sleep outside on the ground like it's nothing. Cause I'm a trench baby. It's nothing. And I was waiting for her to walk around the corner because I was gonna put them tatas on them. I said, all right, it's cool. Cause I already knew what I was gonna do. I went back to that appointment and I tore it up. Cause if I can't have it, ain't nobody gonna have it. So one of the workers.
Now, the people in the comments, I thought it was interesting this time. Said this is not shade, but my mother used to act just like this when I was a kid. It can be traumatizing to a child. Got to think about how your actions will affect your children. So, what's your plan, sis? So, I guess you showed them have to ditch that mentality. You do realize you have kids. Ratchet, you'll be homeless a long time. I feel sorry for your babies. Unfortunately, you got to know when to tuck your tail. I would never. My leasing agent manager was so rude to me, but I had to let it slide because me and my children will not be outside. This has to be rage bait. This can't be real. In that situation, I would have let her have it. Got to put them kids first. You block your own blessings with your mouth and being combative. The ball is in their court. You are already dependent on the government, so you have to pick and choose your battles. The kids didn't. You know what? I'm a trench baby too, but I refuse to let my babies know what it's like to be in so deep. Know when to bow out gracefully. So it seems like the women in the comment section was not with it. They thought that it was crazy that she would be so reckless as and entitled as a homeless person with children to look after. And I think people don't really realize the plight, the true plight of many of the homeless. Not everybody, but many of the homeless. Some people, there are different categories of homelessness. Some people are homeless because an event happened in their life that triggered a financial spiral and they were not able to correct it or help it. Things like an illness happened that needed a lot of medical treatment and they got into a lot of debt and lost things. They lost the ability to have their apartment, or they were sick and lost the ability to work. And sometimes when you lose your ability to work, you were already working kind of a low paying job. You didn't have a high paying job anyway. They're only going to pay you so much. Unemployment is only going to pay you so much. Insurance, you may not have that, or you know what I'm saying? It just causes debt. And if you're too sick to get up, you can't work, a lot of times that spells the end of you, because most people are living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to be sick enough not to work. or be too sick to come into work at some for an extended amount of time. And by extended, I mean like a week or two. And a lot of times people, when you get real sick, it's more than that, you know? And when you're in these types of situations, the government likes to play around. So you may or may not be able to get all of your unemployment. And even if you get your unemployment, that's a fraction of what you were making. So if you get unemployment, that may not be enough to cover your essential bills and rent. And then I've seen homelessness come from that. You know, people don't always have family and things of that nature to support them. So, you know, I'm just sick. I'm just out here. I was out of work, you know, and I can't pay my rent. Now I can't really pay my bills. You know, the landlord doesn't want to hear it. They're going to put you out. And many times those people, if they get well or what have you, they struggle to try to get back up on their feet. They actually try to get back up on their feet. Those are the homeless people that you really can help. They'll go into the facilities. They will, you know, not be super entitled. They'll do whatever it is that they need to do to be able to go into the work programs, to be able to get back into, because they don't want to be homeless. They never did. It was just a situation that happened that they could not prevent. And then you have the entitled homeless. You have the homeless people who are irresponsible and entitled. And the reason why that they have to be in a shelter isn't because they don't have family that would have taken them in. It's just that they have such a bad attitude that they family don't mess with them. And the people don't mess with them. They've burned bridges. They've burned several bridges, children or not. They've burned several bridges with family members, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, cousins, whomever. You know, trying to stay with this one, trying to stay with that one. You come in, they let you stay, and you ratchet. They let you stay and you entitled. They let you stay and you nasty. They let you stay and you reckless. They let you stay and you disrespectful. You know, things of that nature. Even sometimes I've seen situations where people just try to keep the kids, but the homeless entitled parent makes that an ordeal. Study coming over all using the fact that the kids are in the house as an excuse to basically kind of harass them people and try to go in and out. And it's like, take your kids, go, take your kids and go. So it's not even always heartlessness from the family. It's like you and your attitude. We can't. You make it impossible to help you. There's, of course, the mental health people who can't really function in society properly. You know, they need mental health help. And so they can't really go into society like that and work and be productive citizens. So they need assistance all the time. And then you've got the drug addicts that you can't help them because they're too busy trying to be on drugs, and they're kind of the most entitled. So what I've seen is the most entitled group of homeless people be the drug addicts and the irresponsible people. The people who were so irresponsible that now they're homeless and they depend on the system. But they also want people to kiss their butts as they depend on the system. This one falls into that category. Wants people to have so much respect, but she don't have none. And will put herself and her children in various random predicaments of homelessness in order to prove a point about how you can't talk to her a certain way and how you can't act with her a certain way while she act crazy with you. Now, the story that she told about cussing somebody out at the office, and now you got to go talk to the people in the office. Why are you cussing people out in the office? Why did you go back and tear up the apartment that was given to you, the unit that was given to you to be in? Because a lot of times those homeless shelters be like apartment buildings, more or less. And especially if it's a family situation, a woman with kids or things of that nature. So they'll give you like a little 1-bedroom, or, they'll try to accommodate you. It won't necessarily be like a studio. They'll try to accommodate you and the kids or whatever, just to give you one place to be, just give you a place to be. It'll be decent in terms of the shelter, little furnishings and things of that nature. Nothing super fancy, just enough for you to say you can rest for a minute. And the idea is for you to use this as a launching pad to get back into society where you won't need them. So to be able to, utilize whatever programs they have for childcare, put your kids in school if they school age, things of that nature. You go work, you go find something to do. Usually these type of people don't go find nothing to do. And that be the problem. They don't go work. And even if they do work, they constantly getting fired out of the job for the same attitude that they showing up to the shelter with. Okay. Want to be late all the time. Don't want the manager to say nothing. Want to be, missing after the paycheck. You get paid on Friday. You don't show up that Monday, all that kind of foolishness, and jobs will fire you. You already getting a low wage job, because if you were intelligent enough to get a higher paying gig or have a business, you would have done that. So they don't. So these are the people that's working in the Dollar Trees and the Dollar General, and no shade to people that work in Dollar Tree or Dollar General. All I'm saying is these are the lower wage jobs. Typically they tend to be easier to get. You come in, you show yourself competent enough to do what they want you to do, work the cash register, stock the shelves and things of that nature, and you can pretty much get the job if they hiring. But these types of people can't even take those types of jobs. They don't like authority. They don't like nobody to bring order to them. And I've seen this with men and women and that are entitled in these situations. They don't want nobody to bring order to them. They don't want nobody to quote unquote tell them what to do. They don't want to have to be accountable to other people and other things to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They don't want to be held accountable. So therefore, that's the crux of their homelessness. The crux of the homelessness isn't that they don't have a mental issue. They don't even have a drug problem. The problem is the aversion to accountability, not wanting to meet any standard, not wanting to quote unquote nobody to tell them what's what, and everything is disrespect and all of this type of foolishness. That's what keeps them homeless, because that's what keeps them in a situation and in a cycle of needing people, but also being disrespectful to those people, essentially biting the hands that feed you. They like to bite the hands that feed them. There's no amount of nice you can be. There's no amount of accommodating you can be to these types of people. They're always going to do this. They're always going to be like this. So she's ready to run the street or find somebody somewhere that'll let her crash with them kids, rather than keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, keep a place over them kids' heads, and you go work and you figure it out. Since you wanted to have 2 little kids and be homeless, you need to figure it out. Not them. They don't need to figure it out, but you dragging them through pillar to post with you while you act the fool and thinking that it's cute. Jump down in the comment section and let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.